Bum, bum, ba-do-do-do-do, bum, bum. Good morning.
Absolutely, my man. It is a college football Saturday.
Getting excited, getting excited.
Got some great games going on. Obviously, you boys probably have some kind of interest in. I think
Just
Alabama's
one.
playing
Just
or
one.
something like that. So you probably care about that.
At the early slot, 11 o'clock.
Mhm.
Well, there's some hardcore people out there who have definitely been doing the Lord's duty in pregame and probably at least five
Oh,
six
yeah,
hours
all
by now.
week.
Yeah, that started last night.
Oh yeah, I did see an image and it was I want to say it was a pie cap dude who had posted it up, and it was around 3:30 this morning, and there was a solid probably 150 pledges from a couple different groups who were, they'd already staked out their territories, got everything where they
Oh,
are,
yeah.
and they are clearly in the weekend mode already.
Mm.
We will say.
It's poor
A
freshman.
little tailgating.
Oh, we.
Well, what are you thinking, Rista? What do we got to look forward to here? Bama at Mizzou.
Uh, I mean, the spread was pretty close on this. I think it was, 2.5 at one point for
Yeah, I
Mizzou.
do think it went to 3.5.
Yeah, it's been
Oh, okay.
moving back and forth.
Yeah. I guess a lot of that's home field advantage, which I understand. But I don't know, man. Missouri's really good at running the ball this year,
Yeah,
or so far. And Alabama's defense is still a little iffy guarding against that sometimes. I know we saw like last week against Vanderbilt, they let those two huge runs bust for a bunch of yards.
hmm,
But if you're an Alabama fan, the good thing was they made some pretty good adjustments, and I think they
yeah,
did pretty good later in the game. But I don't know if you just got to be prepared, man. You got a good running back like Missouri does, like one of the best in the nation.
mm.
It's going to be a long day if you can't slow them down.
Yeah, and I'll build on that. Talking about Alabama's defense. We got to see if those guys are taking progressions every week like they have been, like
Yeah.
Ty Simpson has every week. And that running back is no joke, man. I've seen some of his break-off runs, and he likes contact. He will take on anybody.
Little
Uh,
Scabo.
yeah, he
Uh,
doesn't care, and that doesn't bode well for a long career. But for right now, that guy runs hard. He is not afraid of contact. He'll run between the tackles. He'll take it outside. It does not matter. Just they feed him the ball and he makes stuff happen. And as far as Missouri's defense, historically they always have a decent defense. In some years they have, top five, top three defense. I don't know what year this really is yet because they show spurts of where they are just shut down on all ends and then they get burnt for massive plays. So I just who shows up today? I'm hoping it's I'm hoping it's the latter, obviously, but we will see.
if they show up or if they don't show up, as far as mentally, they're going to get their butts handed to them. There's just no off weeks anymore. This just
Yeah.
not.
Well, this is a big conference weekend, and I'm not trying to take away from the Bama game at all, but we've got several games that might not seem like big matchups, but every single SEC game is absolutely critical.
Mm,
It's rare that you have the SEC with this much parity. There's always
Mm.
a solid crop of people, but there's usually three distinct tiers. You've got 2 to 4 people here, 2 to 4 people here. It's been pretty evenly spread out, but right now
Mhm.
you've got potentially 3 or 4 people that are elite, and then everybody else slightly under them, and then Florida. Just kidding, Florida.
They
But
got him on last week. Don't you do that to them.
I was just trying to get me a dig in there. I'm just saying there is a lot of parity, and things
Yeah.
are going to continue to shake up. So every game is going to be important, and I think the Alabama Missouri game, an important thing to keep in consideration is that this is an SEC game. It's still weird to me to say Missouri is an SEC team or anything at all like this. I think at this point we just need to go ahead and call it the South or something. Go all antebellum on it, since that's what they seem to be trying to do, expanding it more and more. But this game will absolutely show what the Missouri Tigers have in them, because
Yeah.
we've had a lot of people come and say, hey, they really don't deserve to be ranked. They're kind of
Mhm.
overrated. Yeah, they're undefeated. Who have they played? But this game, they are either going to come out and undisputed show that they've got a tiger in their tank, as the old Exxon ad campaign used to go, and this team of alpha males is here to play, make a playoff run, and put their mark on the field with those nasty highlighter uniforms. Or it's going to be where we see that Bama has gotten together. They decided they don't need to rally behind Kalen DeBoer because they have a fine Heisman candidate right there, #Theismann, and he is leading his team. And we've got a lot of receivers there that vary by 250 pounds of weight difference, we'll say, across the board. And I'm excited to see. I'm sorry. I am super pumped to see what Proctor is going to do this weekend. He might not be the Heisman candidate, but he is quickly becoming one of my favorite players to watch.
Dude, who
Kreme.
doesn't like seeing offensive linemen do crazy things like that? I don't know if I do.
Yeah, Brian had made a good comment, and it was in regards to the John Madden, if he was alive. I mean, that was absolutely, that is one of those key moments that you would probably recall, whether you're a child or an adult. If you got to witness that commentating, that would be with you forever. Those are beautiful, beautiful moments.
Feed Proctor. I think he needs 20 touches a game. Let's go.
Well, I mean, the one of the big questions right now I've kind of put up in our X poll or whatever, and it's also something that you can, few different sites will say you can gamble across for many obscure things in the world, but one of them, not so obscure, is how many touchdowns Proctor is going to get. That is not a statistic that you would think would get any traction with the gambling crowd preseason, and now that is truly wild.
Click this box.
Right.
But I do want to bring this up since you said something about it. You said Missouri hadn't really played a tough schedule so far, and they played Central Arkansas, Kansas, a little bitty Louisiana team. South Carolina was their big win, what they're hanging their hat on right now, Massachusetts. Now, if they can beat Alabama, it doesn't slow down, because then they go to the meat of their schedule, which is going to be Auburn after that, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. So maybe a break with Arkansas at the end. I don't know.
Well, we will see. They might have a completely new program by that time too. That'll be a whole different animal. But we're really going to see what's left of the Tigers after running that, and that's going to be the big revealing factor. Which South Carolina plays today, and that's going to be a game that absolutely shows if they were worth anything, which means Missouri's worth something or not. So.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on to any more games, the last thing I want to say about this Bama game is, Proctor's got all his praise. Everyone spoke about DeBoer and Simpson. You're forgetting about the bell cow of our team, and you just pulled him up in the graphic here. Jeremy Bernard has been the absolute go-to consistency for this Alabama team week after week after week. Mm-hmm. I love seeing him do well. He shows up in big moments. He makes big catches, and he is just a classy dude. I like hearing him talk. He checks a lot of boxes for me. So I would love to see him eat today. I'd love to see him over 100, maybe a couple touchdowns. But if they cover him up, that's going to give Ryan Williams a little bit of space, and I think he's going to eat, because I think he's finally gotten his head out of his ass and is ready to play some real football.
Well, that's the thing. There's many, many people out there that are viable targets, and it's not you've got a good wide receiver one and you've got a solid number two. They are all good.
Yeah.
You've got options. We're starting to see more of I don't want to jinx anything, but there was a certain LSU team that had a similar setup that seemed to work for them. There also was a certain Auburn team. Granted, if Ty Simpson wanted to replicate that, he'd have to put on 100 pounds like that and grow. But I'm just saying the whole dynamics are there for sure. Yeah. And we could absolutely see some very cool things develop out of this team, and I think we are starting to see that.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears real quick to another slight matchup here. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
As you know, this channel, we've kind of churched up Indiana a little bit, and this game right here is absolutely going to show both teams
Yes.
as what they are. And I am stoked for this one. What do you think on this one, Rista? Because I know you weren't here for the full episode that we did, so I haven't got to pick your brain on this yet.
These are the two teams that I hadn't been able to watch as much, unfortunately, because Oregon played, Penn State during an Alabama game, and that I just didn't get to. I didn't swap over as much as what I'm saying, as much as I would like. Now, this is going to be a big one, I think, for Indiana because they don't get a whole lot of respect yet, I don't think, in the polls, just because everybody's saying, "Oh, they beat Illinois. Yeah, they beat them bad, but how good is Illinois?" Well, you beat Oregon, and you should be on up there. So I don't know. I would go with Oregon here just because they're, to me, had the experience in these type of things. But I mean, I could definitely see Indiana winning as well.
I mean, I've been heavily in on Indiana since the beginning. I know Brian has preseason. He was churching them up. I think this is going to be a revealing game, and I won't go too far into predictions one way or another on that. I do think Indiana nets it out here. That being said, Oregon's got a lot of fine talent on that team, and they could be more than just the stereotypical Oregon's going to be ranked in the top 25 because Nike paid for half of the poll. It's I'm just saying it may be this is a year where Oregon has a very solid team, and they come and they really show the coordination that they've developed there with the skill that they have and defeat the Hoosiers. And if that happens, I will solidly put my weight behind Oregon and respect them as a team. But as it is right now, my money's on the Hoosiers. I've seen Gene Hackman,
I've been very much preaching up Indiana since last year before we even started, all this beautiful stuff with sports ball talk. But I like Indiana. I really like their head coach. He's got that fire to him. And I'm not taking anything away from Dan Lanning, but I think Dan Lanning probably has a better cast around him. I think there's obviously more money at that program, so they're supposed to be good, recruiting this, that, and the third.
Right.
So you always expect Oregon to at least be talked about every year just because of the massive funding behind them. There's no reason they shouldn't be talked about. And I say all that to say this. I think Indiana wins this game. I think they show exactly who Oregon is, who barely got by Penn State, who got absolutely embarrassed by UCLA. So I think we're going to see what's what tonight. And like I said, I think Indiana gets it. I think Indiana covers Oregon spread. I think they beat them by more than 7. It's going to be a beautiful thing to watch these two quarterbacks go back to back. Both of them are in the Heisman talks here or there. Neither one of them are really in the top. Everybody's talking about Carson Beck and Ty Simpson at this point, but they're definitely in that conversation.
For sure.
So that being said, we'll see which quarterback makes better decisions today. That's going to be the ticker. Are there going to be any turnovers in this game? Because I don't think there's going to be a lot of turnovers, and the people who turn the ball over are probably going to lose. So that's my take on that.
I think what I'm going to be looking at is very specifically 2 individuals right there on the inside. That'd be the man on the left and the man on the right of the center. I think as long as those 2 pillars can keep that whole line together, Indiana will do just fine, especially on the pass rush. I think that is going to be – I know this is not necessarily a hot take, but probably one that people kind of might furrow their brow at. But you watch it on there. It's going to be specifically the inside part of the line that needs to hold together against this Oregon defense. And if they can hold that, if they can give their quarterback some time all day, Indiana has it. But
let's go.
If they're not maintaining that pass rush and Oregon's starting to get that pressure, that's when you start to see it whittle away. And that's why I'm thinking if Oregon comes out of this one, they are going to be a, we'll say, 4th quarter team, absolutely, that comes out here. Because I think what I have noticed with Indiana is I have started to see some fatigue when it comes to that offensive line. And granted, you don't really think about it, but when you are pushing 300 pounds of pissed off meat for an hour over and over again, it can get a little fatiguing. So I'm not holding it against them.
Yeah.
Just to hit on what you said earlier about the 2 quarterbacks, This is how close they are. Mendoza from Indiana, he has 1,208, and you got Moore from Oregon, who has 1,210 passing yards, and both of them have only thrown one interception apiece. So don't turn the ball over very much.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like you said, it's a pretty evenly matched battle in terms of quarterbacks there. And if we're looking at it through the Heisman lens, I would say that Mendoza's probably got the better shot. I think overall on the field, he shows a better personal performance, and that might be, as Brian mentioned, because Oregon does have possibly a little higher supporting cast. So you're really having to see that extra bit of leadership shine out, putting his body on the line, making the decisions just slightly quicker because he has to. And I think the Heisman voters will notice that too, especially if this game holds out.
That's what I was going to say. This is your opportunity for it. This is your Heisman or building moment. You know, if you beat Oregon, it's going to make a lot of people go, "Oh, wow, they are really good this year." So,
yeah, and I hope to see that because so far this season we've had a few moments where we've had potential Heisman matchups, and they've been pretty underwhelming in terms of quarterback performances. You know, we haven't seen anybody do what they are supposed to do as far as the media has been churching them up to be, and. We'll see. This would be amazing to come out here and see some quarterbacks really shine and say, hey, is it Mendoza might be the top candidate or something like that? That'd be cool. I would be down for that. But at this point, I'm still heavily in favor of a certain Theismann.
Samesies.
I think he's got the juice, as it were. That being said, someone that had juice, hurt their thumb. Someone that had juice, hurt their shoulder. Now we've got a matchup of these two teams. It does not look like Mateer is going to be in the game. There was some back and forth as to whether he was going to. I think it's still too early for him to be really pushing that rehab process. But it is college football. There's a lot of money. Who knows? But that being said, he is not expected to be on the field. Arch is, and we will see, is Manning. We will just see. I believe in Arch. Man. I have to believe in Arch. It's funny because if you look at Ty Simpson, if he would have been Ty Manning, there is zero doubt in my mind they would have just given him the trophy at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's no competition. You're the Heisman.
I want to say Joel Klatt said that maybe last week or so, I think. I think you're definitely.
Oh, after the last performance of Bama or whatever,
I think so.
That's what I'm saying. I really think that's a true thing. I think that Manning is in the mix right now because of the last name. But all things considered, compare his stats right now to his uncle's. Compare the controversy that he has right now to his uncle's. It's very parallel. They were writing him off very early, and I mean, we could potentially see another five-head that rises to greatness and goes out there. He's got a normal forehead right now, so he's got to cram more football into it before he can truly be great.
Well, I think the pressure that was put on Arch preseason was unfair. Just he is a first year starting quarterback. You know, you can't just go, oh yeah, he's going to be the next coming of Christ as far as football quarterback's concerned, and he's about to kill it and 10,000 yards this season and 200 touch. It just doesn't work like that, man. I don't care what program you're at. I don't care if you're out of Texas or in Ohio State. You've got to have a team around you too. And you've got to be healthy. You have to be able to do all the mechanics and make all the throws. And, you know, when you're hurting, your decision process isn't quite the same. You're not throwing the ball the same. You're not it's just, I feel bad for Arch because I feel like he had a lot of expectations put on him this season, and he's obviously not hit those bars yet. You know, we got a few games left to see him shine out, but, you know, he's obviously not put in the body of work we were expecting, or, you know, everybody was hyping him up to do. So we'll see today. This is the biggest game of the year for them. This is their rivalry game. This is the one where I don't care if you're hurt, bleeding, broke, you get out there, you put up. You know, it's just that's what this game is. So Mateer not playing kind of takes a little bit away from it, but it's next man up. We're going to see what the backup can do. So I'm expecting a lot of points in this game because I don't think either one of their defenses are that great. Oklahoma does really good at times, but they've been gashed at times too. So I don't know. I don't think Texas is the one to gash these guys, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Well, the line on this is what, 2.5 points, over under is 42, 41, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Vegas is seeing something different because it might be an under game. Maybe there's not enough traction going on there from the offense. I would like to think that stuff clicks and that we do have that over. We've got a nice high energy performance to enjoy. That might not be the case, but I will say this was the most expensive game of the week with the highest ticket prices. And certainly some people think it's going to be exciting if they're showing off that money for it. This is also be an ABC game, so I will be definitely watching the show, and we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah, if you're slinging tickets for $330 a piece, you're expecting a good game. Or maybe you're not. You're just hoping to suck all the money out of the program this week. I don't know.
So let's hit another SEC matchup. Talks about a team that has had playoff talks for the last 20 years or so, Georgia, against a team from our state, Auburn. Auburn has been a team getting together, assembling a more and more steady program, looking more and more solid. Georgia, on the other hand, one could argue slight opposite. There seems to be a little bit of a decline. That being said, coaching matchup, Kirby is the clear winner against Mr. Freeze. Yeah. I'm sorry. Kirby Smart always makes adjustments when he needs to. He's always professional prior to each game. You'll notice that's a very Nick Saban-like quality that he took from him under his tutelage, and that is, I'm never going to come out here and talk smack about the other team. I'm not going to put down there. I'm actually going to make a point to say positive things about the other team. You'll notice after the Alabama game, Ty Simpson, one of the greatest quarterbacks that played again, just giving them praise and not in that kind of begrudging way and not in a I'm blaming this because this one particular guy was showing out. It's just being honest, being straightforward. There was good talent here. There was good talent here. Mistakes here. Mistakes here. This is why this happened. This is my thoughts. I'm moving forward because I'm a professional coach and I'm trying to make the big dance. And that's what his mind's on. So I will say Kirby, he's locked in right now. The question is, do we have an Auburn team that builds on the momentum that they've had going and puts up a fight against Georgia, or potentially has that upset against Georgia? Or do we see a solid team with a great leader, hold fast, run through them?
I think that's tough. Go ahead, Rista.
Just talking about the coaches there, if Auburn cannot get it together today, and even a close loss would be hard for Freeze right now because that fire's starting to turn up for him. This is a rivalry game, and need to win this one, or at least make a really good showing. But I don't know if they've already lost some close ones like that this year, so I don't know if that's going to be good enough either. So
right.
We'll see.
This is also the second most expensive game this week. So this is, like you said, this is a very big rivalry game. I've been to several of these, and this is something that people are expecting to see a performance. That's why they're willing to shell out the big bucks to go see something special. So I think no matter what, we are going to get a good show. We got a number 10 ranked team versus an unranked team, but this is the SEC and this is a rivalry, so that means nothing.
I think the biggest question marks here are the quarterbacks. I think the coaches are solid, obviously. Hugh Freeze is a good coach. Kirby Smart is one of the best coaches in college football right now. I don't care what anybody says. He is the best halftime adjustment coach in football. I've seen him go in, switch a couple things, and absolutely shut down teams in the second half, and that is a special thing to be able to do.
He pivots.
Yeah, absolutely. So that being said, I think your biggest question marks today are going to be Gunnar Stockton, Jackson Arnold. Which ones are going to show up? They've both been I mean, they've been very similar playing this year. They both showed spurts where they're very good. They lay in the dimes. They make the good decisions. They've done that. They use their legs to make a play. They've got the energy. They obviously have some swagger about them. They both have chips on their shoulders. Which ones are going to show up? Are we going to see both of these guys click today and it be a little shootout? I don't know, because if that's the case, I think it's going to lean towards Georgia. But if it's a more of a defensive game and, maybe the quarterbacks aren't playing so well and Jackson Arnold's making more moves with his legs and we're seeing more running back play, I think it's going to lean towards Auburn. This is absolutely the prove it week for both these teams. You're going to see exactly what you have with both of them. So if Georgia comes out here and just rolls over Auburn, you're going to see that they've made their adjustments. They're taking that next step, and they are a playoff team without question. What's Auburn going to do? I don't know. I mean, I'm the first one, and it's much easier for me to talk shit about Auburn. But I've always wanted to see good football, and I haven't seen a lot of good football out of them this year. It's been spurts here and there, and a half here and a half there, but it's never been a whole game. So we'll see. I think those are your biggest question marks, and depending on the quality of quarterback play today, I think it's going to have a lot to do with the outcome of the game.
Okay. I can get behind that. I will say Arnold seems to be the most inconsistent out of these two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So if it comes into a hot game or not, I would say you're looking at Arnold. If his streakiness is on the good side, that's where you have a very good game. That's where you have the possibility of an Auburn upset. On the other side of the coin, Stafford, he is consistent. There have been people churching him up from the beginning, but I have not seen him really have huge flops. Yeah, Stockton. Sorry, I said Stafford.
He hasn't been there for a while. It's okay.
Yeah, got hit on the head, time traveled. Although, those were better times. I think I might accept that. I might stay in those times and enjoy those games.
Take me back. Take me back.
Anyway, on that note, I think he's been more consistent this season. I don't necessarily think he's had the Heisman level performance that we were expecting.
No.
But I think he's been building. He's solid. Out of the two, he is the more professional for sure. And if I had to choose one to throw into an NFL style today, hands down, he's my guy. I'm going with him. He has the greatest chance of success. That's not even a question.
Mm-hmm.
As it plays out today, we're realistically probably looking at the Dogs coming and showing up. But I would love to see the Tigers pull this upset. I would love to see the chaos that shakes into the system. It just makes the SEC even more of a what is going to happen here. And it keeps that playoff run wide open, which is what is going to make a lot of these games more interesting. Because I shouldn't be able to every week say every SEC game matters, But that's where we're at. It's every single game is a crucial game. Nothing is taken for granted yet. So definitely a more pleasurable experience for the average viewer, I would say, for damn sure.
One more thing I'll say for Georgia here. If you're a Georgia fan, and we've all hit on this about Kirby Smart making adjustments the best in the country, and I agree with that. If I'm a Georgia fan, I want to see them do what they did at Kentucky. I want to see them get out early and ahead right off the get. I don't want to have to make my adjustments and come back in the game. Don't want to do that.
Well, to add on that point, he did make an adjustment at halftime, and I don't think they scored in the second half of that game. So,
right.
Well, I mean, look at the Bama game too. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Noticeable tone change, though. I'm sorry.
We won. Shut your hole.
That was good.
Go Dogs.
Do we have any other thoughts today before we wrap it up? I do want to go ahead and do a shameless promo. If you want to buy any good merch, check out our store. We've got all kinds of cool things out there. Dude Bros merch, Glizzy Gang merch, all of the stuff you know and love.
I'd wear that shirt to work if they'd let me.
That being said, I am going to get a quick workout in, and then I'm going to be in full football mode, and I am so stoked to watch this specifically Alabama game will be where my eyes get priority. But I will absolutely look at the Ohio State game, a couple other games too, and we'll touch back at halftime, give everybody an update on what's going on.
That sounds good. I'll see you
Sounds
boys
good.
at half.
Yes, sir. Everybody, thanks for watching. Reese to Brian, thank you for coming.
Roll Tide, baby.
Roll Tide.
Y'all have a good one.